Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
I'm Todd Pleasant.
And I'm Brian Mix.
Hey, Brian.
Welcome back, Brian.
Glad to
I
be
realize
here.
this show will even out your vocals. Anyway, that was pre-show gold discussion because we're not seeing the wave anymore. But anyway,
Yes.
The people love the behind-the-scenes stuff. They just love it.
There's really no evidence to support that.
I think what they love most
do.
is when we spend time trying to figure out how to put logic together on we're going to do a poll and how do we rank things. People love that.
Just think for all the time you've had to suffer through that as a listener, understand that you're getting at best 5% of it. So
God, there's hours on end. Yeah. We did record the how we named and picked out the tribbles that we talked about last week. We should put that up.
We should definitely not.
We were mostly in agreement on that one, though.
Yes, no, that went surprisingly well.
We should save that for some bonus time when we need.
That'll
some
be a bonus.
filler.
It's a video too.
It is actually a video podcast.
We'll have to look at it before we do anything with it. But okay, so this week, Brian joins us. He was lucky enough to go to the Star Trek set tour, which we've talked about numerous times, and George Takei was there a couple weeks ago, and he will fill us in all about that.
And Brian is fresh back from middle of nowhere, New York, to tell us all
this guy travels across the country to go to things, and I feel ashamed of us that
we should be really.
I'm going to out you, Dave, because you were 100% right. You texted Todd and I that weekend, and you're like, I feel bad. Brian came all the way from California, and we're literally driving distance, and none of us are there.
Yeah, it's 8-hour flights, one change, a 2.5 hour drive to get there.
Well, you also fly around the world, so it doesn't bother you as much as it bothers us. I cannot drive more than 2.5 hours without going crazy.
See, and I don't mind a drive. For me to go straight to Ticonderoga would be 6.5, 7 hours. But if I've got nobody in the car complaining, I'm good. Yeah. It's when somebody else is bitching about traffic or
I had a work thing going. I could not dodge, but yeah.
Well, I was going to tell you guys off air, but I'll tell you on air. I talked to James, and he's all for us doing a podcast from the set.
I think that would be great.
We've got to work that out.
Yeah. We had him on a while back.
We did a couple times, I think, right?
We had him on Mission.
That's right, Mission New York.
Yeah, 50th anniversary convention in New York.
Yeah, it'd be great to film video there. And
that'd be awesome.
That was actually the first podcast of yours guys as I ever listened to. That's how I found
really?
it. Was
wow.
Okay.
Searching on the Star Trek set tour, I found your podcast that way.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, look at you now. Cool. You're an irregular Joe.
And look at you now.
Yeah, we would love to. And we're going to talk about that. We also, we only mentioned this last week, I think, and if we even mentioned it, we all watched Foundation on Apple, and we're going to talk about that. It's not like Titans where we talk about it for weeks. We actually watched it.
We watched the first episode at least.
First episode, so we'll talk about that. Then we'll do what's in the box probably. But what else? We could do random. Was I thinking something else? I don't remember. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'll think of it. Let's go random. Brian, what do you got?
All right, I've got a defeat for the United States and for Dave Pisani. The United States lost in space again. The Russians are the first ones to film a feature film in outer space, beating Dave's boyfriend to the punch.
Not feature Tom Cruise.
No, it's a rush. The Russians are right now. The astronaut.
Where are they doing?
It's like we're living in For All Mankind.
They're on the International Space Station, filming a movie about.
It's not very big. How do they? I guess it's. I hope it's a movie about space.
If your set is the International Space Station, it's not.
Just imagine what it's like, for craft services setting up and having shit float all over the place.
I hate when that happens.
Oh damn!
How do you put on a monster suit in 0G?
You put all these sandwiches out on the table, and they're just like.
And they sent up an actress, not an astronaut, an actress, and an actor / photographer, and they're shooting right now. Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, good for the
So
Russians.
not only did the Russians put a woman in space before us, but they put an actress in space before us. It's like
That's correct.
Just
Yes.
keep checking off.
Well,
those
we're
boxes.
sending an actor to space, but he's not going to make it all the way to the space station.
That's right.
unfortunately.
That's right.
Yeah,
I know it's funny. People
and he's from Canada, so it's
Canadian
First-
astronaut.
yeah.
Actually,
Canadian.
I have a story about that. I've actually spoken to William Shatner about his space flight.
that is awesome.
Last trip to Ticonderoga, when he was talking about this, that he was working on a deal to go to space, and he was trying to figure out who he would bring with him when he was doing the whole Terry Bradshaw show, and he was talking about that, and he was really worried about zero G, and would he get sick in zero G, because he didn't want that on camera. And I have some experience in zero G because I've been on the vomit comet. So I said,
Oh, wow.
I told him what they told me: have bananas for breakfast. It's like, bananas? Why bananas? Because they taste the same coming up as they do going down.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
I don't know that I've ever heard your story about going on the vomit comet. So that
No,
may have to be-
but I gotta say, it's you having given Shatner instructions how to throw up. It's just brilliant. That is.
I saw him on the Today Show. He didn't quote that. It would have been awesome if
I'm
he did.
waiting for him to do it. I'm
Yep.
waiting for him to do it. Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
said
I was
it
talking
already.
to an astronaut one time, and he told me
Yeah.
it's exactly how he'll tell that story. You know that.
I'm excited for Bill, but I'm also just nervous about it.
But this flight is literally
no, I know it's an
15 minutes
airplane, and it's
up
like
down.
coming off an
It's-
airplane too.
It's
It's
not,
not like blasting off, but
yeah. I mean, hey, it's space, but it's not like he's going to space.
Oh no, this
station
is the Bezos flight. This is the rocket from the pad. This is not the airplane version. This is the
That's
rocket
true.
from the pad.
This is
Yeah.
and there's
Whoa, whoa,
always
whoa,
going to
wait,
be
wait. This is different. Wait, this is Blue Origin,
yeah.
which is
This is the Jeff Bezos Amazon flight, which is a rocket off the pad.
it's a rocket, but it's
the one that
also
drops from the
very
plane.
quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's only going to
It's
be
not
up there
like
for like
SpaceX
15
or
minutes,
anything.
right?
absolutely
Right. Yeah. It's
absolutely.
a,
But you know what? It's the dangerous 15 minutes.
Oh, it's
Okay.
pretty. It's a pretty hairy 15 minutes.
It's the it's the 15-minute part that like it is the most dangerous, because once you get beyond that, it's just you're beyond that.
No, but I mean, forget about that. It's Bill, a 90-year-old man, even in the best shape. I mean, that's a lot to
yeah, that's
of
a lot.
wear and tear on a 90-year-old body.
well, he's
Hey,
going,
if he didn't die on that stupid scaffold in Generations, he's invincible. So,
he's boldly going where no
90-year-old man should go before.
Yeah,
He did die on that scaffold, didn't he? But then he came back. But then,
Then he came
died
back.
again.
That's what I'm saying. It's like that. He would. He'll be just about to expire, and the Nexus will sweep over him.
Can you imagine if
Exactly.
Sauron was waiting for him up there?
I'm telling you.
God,
And you know what? He wouldn't recognize him.
yeah.
he wouldn't remember him. You're right.
You're like, are you the guy that parked my car? It's like
I'm pulling for Bill. So it's. I think it's Tuesday.
Yeah, it's this week. Yeah,
the 12th. It's the
Yep.
12th.
yeah.
Um,
That's crazy. Well, it'll give us something to talk to him about when we see him at Rhode Island Comic Con.
Yes.
God willing.
that's the crazy thing. He's literally this weekend. He's at New York Comic Con. Then he's going to space, and then a couple of weeks later, unless he's got something else in between, he's going.
Right, and then a week or two after that, he's in Ticonderoga again.
right.
I
that's
would
right.
just love to see his calendar. It's
What the hell? I mean,
What's actually amazing is that we know Shatner's schedule. We just literally did that off the tops of our head.
It's so
And
sad.
at Ticonderoga, he's marrying two couples.
Yep.
They're doing
Oh
a
my
wedding
gosh.
ceremony on the set. Yeah.
that's the best.
That is great. So
Anyway, Barry, what do you got?
All right, so taking you on a little journey, follow me on this one. There's a YouTube channel called the Bombad Cast, and they recently, and I don't know why, interviewed Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons at a sound check in Austin, Texas. It was in the end of September, and they asked them about The Mandalorian. So, which is weird, and it ended up going to Disney's treatment of Gina Carano. So the host asked Gene Simmons, "You like The Mandalorian, right, Gene? You're a fan of it." And Simmons answered, "One of the best shows on TV." Then they asked him, "What did you think of season 2?" And he said, "They should have kept that chick, even though she had different political opinions different political points of view. It's not about politics. It's whether you're a good actress." Later in the interview, Paul Stanley said, "You were talking earlier about Gina Carano, right? Look, political views, the whole cancel culture is so dangerous. The idea that people can't speak their minds, that's what freedom is all about." So, these are the two guys that when they didn't like two members of the band, replaced them with people that looked just like them.
Yes. Yeah.
So
They also
are they
just
really
fired
the right
David Lee
people
Roth.
to be talking about this? But I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Those guys were kind of messed up, but whatever. I don't know.
no, they were. But it's just such a strange thing to me to be interviewing the members of KISS and be talking to them about Star Wars. And
Yeah,
then
good
for them to
mashup.
have an opinion on Gina Carano. It's just the whole thing was very bizarre. to me, so.
I recently I heard to get onto that whole thing, but recently I heard Kara Swisher refer to what people call cancel culture as accountability culture. Okay. And not for the blanket overuse of cancel culture, but saying, yeah, you can say absolutely whatever you want, but there are going to be some consequences to that. And you have to understand that there are certain lines you got to color within, and either in one set of extremes or the other, you're not losing your right to free speech, just like somebody else doesn't lose the rights to decide who works for them.
Well, the other thing that I did find,
who they are publicly promoting.
the other thing I found a little odd about it was that the comments that got her in trouble were comparing the Nazis, right? Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley are both Jewish, so I don't know. The whole thing to me just was a weird article and a weird
odd,
interview.
But again, we've talked about this many times. Is when Disney's paying for your supper, I think there's guidelines, and you decide whether you want to color within those lines or not. And she decided not to. So I don't feel that this is a major blow to free speech. I truly don't.
Yeah.
Well, she's not in jail. She's just
This is what I'm saying.
She's in Disney jail.
She didn't
I
get
think
put
so.
in
Someone should be
gulag.
canceled, especially if I don't like what they said.
Right. She didn't get put in the gulag. She these people decided that they did not want to promote this person anymore.
She's
They
going
were
to
saying
say
something about Lucy Lawless, whether she was going to have the role first or they thought about replacing her after they kicked her off. I don't remember. I didn't read the article.
But it's also that I read part of it. It's also what Lucy Lawless thinks versus what is provable in any way.
Yeah.
And
it was a way for Lucy Lawless's name to be in the press again.
You just went exactly where I was going. It's a way for Lucy Lawless, who was, deemed redundant in this context, to keep that story going. So,
well, Gina Carano and Scarlett Johansson are going to share a Disney jail cell because.
Aha! I'm going to go next.
Okay.
Disney and Scarlett settled.
Yeah, that's what we heard.
They settled.
No details though of the settlement, right?
Well,
and you won't hear that.
No way. And they're looking forward to working with her again, and blah blah blah.
Of course, they are.
That's interesting.
Never happened.
I mean, Disney's pretty powerful.
Let's just put it this way: they're not going to disclose the terms of settlement, but were she to pile all the money at the bottom of that pit and then dive in, she'd have been fine. So it's like if they just put all that money in a big pile, she jumped off the cliff instead of Hawkeye, she'd have landed safely.
Right. So shouldn't they have just paid her before this went public and not have to have any of this dragged through the press?
Don't think that wasn't attempted. I think, but this also
was. I'm saying
that I think it's good that it happened because the rules have changed here, and this is gonna, like I said, this will change things.
That's the thing. Are they like that stupid that they're like, we're not paying her? What could happen? Oh, she's going to the press, and like it's a disaster. Like, how do they? You guys should. And then lawyers should know that
to come back and say, well, we were just thinking of people's health by because we didn't want to expose people unduly to COVID, so we were doing this for that purpose. And it was like, that really
and
flew.
Studios have been screwing people for a century.
Oh my God,
No,
yes.
they
And
do it
that's
all the
just
time.
it. And
They
this is
didn't think
just
they'd
one
get
more
caught.
way of doing it.
Right. Yeah.
And other studios held their ground and didn't release things on streaming.
And that's the other
look
thing
at James
is
Bond.
now,
Comes out this Friday.
This
They
will
held
be
it and held it.
on the front end. This is now going to be a negotiating thing.
Well,
So
IATSE's next, right? Have you guys been following that? The IATSE union is talking about striking for the same thing for streaming.
I have been reading it because it will affect my business a lot. I mean, what's weird is it comes down to they're saying they're working too long hours, and there's in some wording, it was like dismal pay. Unless I was in IATSE way back in the 90s, and when we were in meal penalties and overtime, I made like $800 a day. I feel like all of that has been relaxed a bit because, we were on strike. The 3 years I was in the union, I was on strike 14 months of those 3 years for God knows what. That's why I got out, because I couldn't make a living. There was no.
Dave, isn't the issue though that that it's, I don't want to say seasonal, but it's sporadic, and that you don't, there's not enough consistency of the work.
But that's not what they're talking about.
No, I know that. But what I'm saying is, when they say dismal, they're saying because there's so much time that they basically
no. They're talking about their hourly wages, and they're talking about the length of time. Like, I don't remember working a day that wasn't 12 hours ever.
Yeah.
12
now
hours.
they're talking about they don't want 12-hour days. I don't know that producers are going to give in to this.
No,
and
it shouldn't,
strike
because
they've got all this content piled up, right? They could.
They don't, because of COVID. They're just scraping by, I think, with stuff. I don't know who I support, but this is the right time to strike, because they've just been like, okay, we have enough to sort of keep on the air right now, and not much more because of COVID. It's a really good time to strike.
Yeah.
And I think the unions have changed. When I was reading the camera union that I was in, it's like, oh, it's $800 to join, and $450 to join, and dues are $78 a quarter or something. I paid $3,500 to join in 1989. So the whole thing is different, and they didn't do anything for me. So anyway, that's a whole nother thing. Todd, what do you got?
Okay. I got two things. One I would like to have happen, and one is actually happening. There is a whole bunch of talk from a couple credible sources that there's negotiation or talks going on to bring Daredevil back with at least some of the original people. There's this weird kind of thing where they're talking about like a soft reboot where they wouldn't keep all elements of the backstory as created. Also, the same thing, supposedly the story originally started out with John Barenthal and Punisher.
Yeah.
So that could be very, very interesting. I'd like to see it. I would more than that. I would love to see it. And that would be totally awesome. So I think the thing we're going to see is, like I said, if that Spider-Man appearance happens, that's the door that's opened, and we'll see. There's thoughts both ways in that. My other thing is there's a trailer out for a new film called Operation Mincemeat, which is based on one of my favorite books, one of my favorite historical books. This is a World War II plot, very famous. It was the subject of another movie which called The Man Who Wasn't There that totally mismanaged the story. But this is basically a plot hatched by Ian Fleming, during World War II that then got handed off and followed through. It is one of the most incredible real kind of spy stories that ever occurred. Very, very cool. And it's coming very soon. And there's, like I said, this trailer out for it.
Who's in it? I thought I saw someone.
Colin Firth.
Colin Firth, really?
And it's like I said, trailer just dropped, and it looks great, and I'm super excited. Like I said, I love
streaming?
the book.
Yeah, me too. I read the book as well.
You
It's
did,
great.
yeah. Okay, it's just a terrific book. I actually read this book and then listened to the audiobook afterwards, and because I just liked it, I wanted to experience it again, and it's really good, and it's very, very well written. And this is again a story that a lot of people knew, and then all the principal actors in the story passed away. And the official secrets period expired, and the pieces that weren't known could be threaded back in, and now the full story. So the full story was known in around the early 2000s, and that's why this book could be written. But again, one of the most interesting stories out of World War II. and hugely significant in how even D-Day went down. So it's yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, and it looks like they did a good job with it.
Is it a theatrical release or is it a
Yes.
streaming
Yeah,
service?
it's theatrical, 2022.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, cool.
And but again, like I said, just I'm really trying not to spoil it, but a great true story that, like I said, in the book was told the way it should be, and this should be phenomenal. I'm really
You know what's
excited for
phenomenal? Fanboy Collectibles.
it. Absolutely.
Hot Toys Mysterio in stock. That is a cool looking figure.
That is
It's a really cool looking figure.
That is in stock. WandaVision statue when Wanda's at the end floating on that thing. That's a cool looking statue. Something on the website that says Todd order here. I don't know. Silver Centaurian Iron Man in suit up mode.
It is very cool. I have a Silver Centaurian already.
Yeah, it's sort of. It'd be cool if it closed and opened, but anyway, they haven't done that yet. I bet
I haven't done one of the suit up mode ones yet, and they did the Mark V that way as well, and I may do that eventually. I think I think yeah. There's a couple.
Oh, who are you kidding? You're going to order it, so just order it.
Order it before Todd orders it. So check that out. And there's Kotobukias, and there's Pops, and there's Sideshow, and there's statues, and there's all kinds of stuff. And they will be at New York Comic Con. Troy just posted a picture on our pal Facebook, who they just did the load in, I guess, and they went smooth. So,
which isn't always the case at New York Comic Con. So I'm sure he's thrilled.
No, he said it was smooth because it's never smooth. That's what
I'm saying. I'm saying it's not always the case at New York.
I thought you said it's always the case.
No, not always the case. I know that
he's got some
Teamsters aren't always easy to deal with. So,
the opinions of Barry Kay are not reflective of the Regular Joe's podcast or Dave Pisani.
We love the Teamsters. What did I say?
I've seen Teamsters in action. They're doing great work. Thank you, gentlemen. I'll tell you a story about that after the show.
Check them out in Newtown, Connecticut.
Check them out in Newtown, Connecticut, or online, fanboycollectibles.com, or at New York Comic Con. If you're going, let us know. Anyway, there are still tickets available.
Do you feel any angst about the fact that we're skipping New York Comic Con?
No. I mean, you want to know what's funny? There are several things I would like to do that I won't do. And it's funny, two of them are at the town hall. One is I would like to go see that Ron Howard thing. I think that'd be interesting. Yeah. And Barry, you saw the Dave Grohl thing?
Yeah, I really wanted to get tickets for that, and I hesitated, and it was like sold out immediately.
They are so Dave Grohl's got a book out, and I guess they asked him do some readings from the book. So he made this whole thing about it where he's doing all kinds of stuff. He was
rather than just do a reading, he's like performing drum solos and doing singing songs.
That at the town hall would be awesome. But not only could I not get tickets, but I still don't think I would go. I don't want to sit in an audience. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I went to see the Foo Fighters a couple weeks ago, so I would have gone to that. But
it was outside, though.
It was outside, sort of.
Anyway. Yeah, but tickets on the secondary market are going for like $1,200.
No, I know. It was crazy.
Yeah. Anyway. But so
I had one other quick random, which
I was just going to say about New York Comic Con. Okay. I've gone out and done a bunch of things. I go to work every single day. I've been out to see a couple movies. I've been out to a couple smaller things. The prospect of going into that hall. I actually was thinking about this the other day, and I thought about it. If I had Adam Savage build me a complete alien spacesuit with a breathing unit in it, I would attempt it. But possibly the Martian outfit too would work.
That'd be easier. I'm
just thinking both. I'm gonna spend a lot of time there. The Martian looks tight, and that's what I think at this point. That's what it take for me to walk around that much humanity.
I was thinking that our usual method of entry would probably not have worked this year.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, they still have tickets available. Everything is sold.
I know. And
Saturday's the only one sold out.
Yep.
So
I'm going to the
You going to New York Comic Con?
San Diego Comic. I'm going to San Diego Comic Con. They have their special event coming up Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
Also not sold out.
Wow.
I'm going to that. But before that, guys, 4 weeks from now, 5 weeks from now, Rhode Island.
Going to Rhode Island.
Yes.
Rhode Island.
Feel differently
versus New
about
York
that.
is
I just
night and day.
honestly,
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm uncomfortable under normal circumstances walking into the Javits Center. It's just so many people. You know, when you just look out over this, just like it's like
The most crowded
like
it's ever been at Rhode Island.
This is a stadium full of
nothing.
people without seats.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It's a sea of people. It's not. You can't walk down the aisles without rubbing against.
There was a
people.
time, Brian, where Dave and I had arranged to meet each other in a certain place, and we could see each other, but literally couldn't get to each other. That's how bad it was.
I could see Troy's booth. I left something at Troy's booth to pick up before we left. I could see Troy's booth for 25 minutes before I could physically get to it.
I don't think it'll be that way, but it's just not. I mean, I'm trying to think. Maybe the hallway outside the showroom, or the
That bridge to the Duncan
that bridge
Center.
from one Rhode Island place to the other is a little hairy, but other than that, it's pretty wide open.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to Rhode Island for sure. A, because I'm going to get to see you guys, and B, just because it's been too long since we've been at an event like that.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and we'll be in the lobby doing our thing. Hopefully, we'll be masked up. I think, Todd, you need to make a sign. You have the Regular Joe's, the fully vaccinated Regular Joe's
That's
podcast
right,
for people. I am going to get disposable mic covers for all the mics.
Yep.
So that anytime someone does want to talk to us, if you're listening, Bill Shatner out there,
There's a lot of
big
good
bottle of
people
Purell
at this
sitting
show.
there, and
good point.
Yep.
Purell and exchangeable mic
and
covers.
again the little pull up things, the little So no,
Pull-up
I think
things.
so. I think we're still the little things of the disposable wipes, the baby wipe.
Oh, wipes.
container
Yeah,
things,
wipe.
yeah.
Oh, good. Let's put that on the list.
Yeah,
Wipes.
we'll
Purell.
definitely plan on that, and still no one will come near us, but it's
never know.
we'll have a good time. So
Well, yeah.
no matter
so
what, no
just
matter what, we'll have a good time.
Circling back for 1 second, I had something else I wanted to mention real quick. I fixed the cover art issues we were having for our podcast on Apple Podcasts. And I only bring that up because a couple people had actually commented thinking that we had reverted back to our original logo. That wasn't by choice. And it turns out the cover art that we had been using was fine. And then all of a sudden it wasn't, because it was literally 1 pixel too small. And because of that, it reverted back to the original artwork from 8 years ago.
Very, very Apple.
Yes. So if you are supposed to be 1400 by 1400 pixels and you're 1399, it doesn't work.
Sloppy, Barry. Sloppy.
Yeah, I know. It's all my fault, but we are good now. We're back to the proper logo. I just wanted to say it took me quite a while to get that figured out, but I'm glad it's fixed.
Great. Okay. So, Brian, you were in Ticonderoga, New York, not that long ago. You've how many trips have you been there? This is what
That's 5.
5. Jesus, I've been twice, and I live 3.5 hours away.
It's worth it every time. If you we say this every time. It's Star Trek Mecca. If you're a TOS fan, you've got to go.
And I follow the Star Trek Set Tour on social media. And one of my favorite things when I know you're there is going on their social media and seeing you in all their pictures.
Yeah.
Because you're always right in the middle of everything.
It is. Yeah. It's a number of people texting me that picture of me in the back, holding up my camera over my head as I'm taking pictures. I took some really cool pictures of George from the other side of the table through the chess set. It was a great time. And starting with I arrive and they're trying to put sound effects into the navigation console, where they just put in an awesome. My friend Steve built the viewer that comes up out of
the Sulu scope. Yeah,
Sulu scope.
I saw it when I was there. They had it deployed, and I was looking at it. But I didn't realize your friend built that. That's cool.
Yeah, my friend Steve built that, and they installed it, and they wanted to put sounds on the buttons, and they were having trouble with the sounds on the buttons. And the guy says, "Well, Brian, can you do sounds?" It's like, it's what I do all day long, right? And oh, and by the way, I got my tricorder here with every episode of Star Trek on it. So what sound would you like? And we put the Riley singing
Oh, that's awesome.
medley on the button. Yeah. So he
I'll be home.
Yeah, I'll be home again, Kathleen. Yeah. So we put that song on the button, which George loved.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that was the best part, was getting to work on the set. That's the first time I've been able to do that. The day before George got there, was actually able to work on something. And then
that's terrific.
And George arrived and was just phenomenal. The guy was great. You know, he shows up and he says, you know, James, I'm willing to wear the shirt if you can come up with a yellow costume for me, I'll wear the uniform. And I'm like, oh my God. So James, and then I hear that, I go, oh, I didn't bring a uniform. I'm gonna get my picture taken with George.
Sure.
How did you not bring a uniform?
I don't bring a uniform. And the guy, my other friend said the same. And James goes,
you just pause for just a second.
Yeah.
I appreciate you using the correct terminology.
Oh,
and not saying costume.
No, it's the uniform.
Continue.
So Dave and James and I run to the back, and James pulls down bin after bin after bin of original series costumes from
really
from his
from the show.
Oh, because he had filmed that show.
Yeah.
So he's holding them up. This one won't fit. This one fits you. Oh, this one's it's original. It's made from fabric from. It was a red shirt. It was made from fabric from Phase 2. So same fabric as the third season. They just carried the bolt over into Phase 2. Made it has one of his patches, which he made exactly the same way, but it didn't have a zipper in it, so I couldn't wear it. Like, this is like original fabric. How much you want for this, James? And he told me a number, and I paid him for it.
Wait, back up. You're talking about you?
This is for me.
Wait.
Okay,
Did anyone get
I went
that?
too fast.
I was following along. I got it.
I wasn't. I thought they were talking about Sulu.
We were pulling costume after costume out.
And
I'm like,
wait, who's in the room? We need a little more color here.
It's okay. I'm sorry. We're in the back. We're in the back of the set, and it's me and my friend Dave and James, the guy who runs the place.
Okay.
All right.
You know
James. You know James. He's been on the show. And he has bins and bins of Star Trek costumes.
And he was looking for a costume for George.
For George. We're looking for a costume for George. So it's got to be a yellow shirt. And it's got to be medium-ish, large-ish. We're not sure what size.
Uh-huh.
So we're digging through looking for that shirt. And at the same time, we're looking for ones for me and for Dave, so we can wear one in the picture with him.
Of course.
Got it. Okay.
Because part of what you get in the package is you get to take a picture with him.
Yeah.
Right. And he was sitting at the Sulu console when we stood next to him and took the picture. So I'm holding him up going, oh, this is great. This is great. And I'm feeling the fabric. This is really different. That's when he tells me it's the fabric originally from the show, but I can't wear it because it doesn't have a zipper. My wife's like a professional costumer. She can put a zipper in. Will you sell this to me? And he did.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've got original Phase 2 fabric, red shirt, waiting to have a zipper put in.
Oh, that's great.
So we
That's awesome.
find the costume for Sulu. We have found one with the he got in so much trouble for this. The braid was on the shirt, but the shirt was too long, so he cuffed it, and the braid.
That explains the
because I saw
issue.
the cuffs. I was like, that's an instant. That's an instant shirt.
Okay, and I guess James caught a bunch of shit for that.
We noticed in the pictures. Yeah,
it was it was literally the night before. That we found out this was.
I would argue that lieutenant would be acceptable, and captain would be acceptable.
Captain would be acceptable. He talked about that. He says Star Trek 6 is his favorite movie because he got to be a captain.
Yeah.
Star Trek 6, and he always wanted to do the Sulu captain show. He's still, if they would ask me today, I would go do it today.
And they should. They could totally do, and who knows, but they could totally do a Captain Sulu, TV movie.
So I've got literally, I took notes this time because I always forget. I got a dozen stories he told while we were on the tour. And I don't know if you guys listened to him on the radio or if he told many of these stories before, but one of my favorite is when he got the call to do the callback. He was in the shower when he gets the call back and the phone was ringing. He's like, should I answer it? Yeah, I'll answer it. So he darts out of the shower and answers when it says agent saying, you're getting a call back for Star Trek. Go meet Gene Roddenberry. He's writing down the name and his hands are wet and it's blurring the ink.
So this is for second pilot. This is for right.
Right.
This is for
This is for the second pilot, and he goes in to see his secretary, who at that time was DC Fontana.
Yeah.
So he holds up the note and says, "I'm here to see Mr. Rosenberry," because the ink had blurred.
Oh, that's so funny.
and she didn't miss a beat. She goes, "Mr. Roddenberry will be with you in just a minute." And he showed him into Gene's office, and Gene goes, "Okay, I'll make sure I get this right. So you're George Takei." And he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, but it's Takei. In Japanese, Takei means expensive."
Yeah.
And Gene goes, "Oh, I'll never forget that. You're Takei." And then he said, "Well, Takei doesn't mean cheap, so you know."
That's great.
That's funny.
He had nothing but glowing things to say about Gene Roddenberry and his vision of inclusion in the future.
Well, sure.
And how he really wanted to cast an Asian for in a role, and he struggled with the name because apparently George is telling us the last names are very particular to different regions of Asia. The Parks are Korean, and the Lees are Chinese, and so he didn't want to use a name that was specific. So on the map, there's the Sulu Sea, which touches every country in Asia.
Oh, wow.
And that's where he came up with the name of Mr. Sulu.
I didn't get
That's
that.
really
I
interesting.
did not know
That's
that.
cool.
That is
Yeah.
really cool.
A lot's been written and a lot's been said about Gene, but you cannot take away from the fact that he did get that.
You
right.
look at that show for when that show was produced, it is extraordinarily inclusive.
Yep.
And I mean, right down to working a Russian character in there. You know, I mean, it was just later. And it's like it's yeah.
Which George is bittersweet about, because he said they added him because he was stuck in the jungle in shooting the Green Berets.
Oh yeah.
Right. So all those great Chekhov episodes were supposed to be Sulu episodes.
Yep.
Oh,
The
that's
second
funny.
season, but because they couldn't get him, they cast him. And the Russians were complaining there were no Russians on the spaceship when the Russians were first in space, and that's why Gene cast a Russian character in a Davy Jones wig.
Yeah.
Right. And
Very
nowadays
bad,
you would
very
have to have an
bad
actual
wig.
Russian playing that role, not a not
And
a American guy. But-
He was about the name. He said when they translated it to Japanese, it was basically the Sulu show as far as they were concerned. They didn't think the name Sulu was Japanese enough, so they changed his name in Japan. He's
Oh, really?
yeah. Let me see if I can pronounce it right. He was Lieutenant Katai.
Oh, really? That's
Katai is a
crazy.
Japanese name, and they wanted him to have a Japanese name in the Japanese translation.
Oh, that's funny.
That is really interesting.
That is crazy.
And apparently in Star Trek 4, that's the one with the whales where they go back in time. There's a scene they shot where Sulu meets his
Yes.
his
This
great grandfather
Yep.
as a baby or as a little tiny child.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it was an evening scene, and they had this little Asian kid cast in the role, and they do a rehearsal, and the cameras roll, and the kid freezes.
Oh,
And
really?
they stop the cameras and they rehearse again, and he gets the line, and then they roll the cameras, and the kid freezes. And it was getting darker and darker and darker. And when they finally got the shot, it didn't match up, so they just cut it from the movie. And he said it was really disappointed because it was a really touching scene of him meeting his great grandfather as a little kid.
That
which
would
made
be
with
cool.
that and his having a daughter in later gave him more family than anyone else in the show.
Yeah, that's
Right?
true. Other
You know.
than Spock and his father. Yeah, you're right.
Spock and his father, but
Yeah.
he had more connections than
Oh, and don't forget Bill's twin brother, George Kirk.
And his nephew. He had a
Right,
nephew and a.
his
I say
nephew and
I say
brother.
his twin brother because in Operation Annihilate they rolled over the guy with the mustache was Shatner.
Yeah, it was exactly. Yeah, yep.
Well, Scotty
So
had a
Sam
nephew
Sam was
in
his brother
the motion
Sam,
picture.
and then
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Well, not motion picture. That was Wrath of Khan, right? No, it was motion
It was
picture.
Rathacon.
Yeah, it was Wrath of Khan.
Wrath of Khan. Yep.
Now, was this George's first time there, or has he been there before?
It was his first time on this iteration of the set in Ticonderoga because he was in an episode.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Have I told that story about me directing George Takei in an episode of Star Trek?
No.
No. Okay, so we're time. What's the name of the episode? Now I'm blanking on it. Time Enough at Last, I think, is the name of the episode. No, that's
Something like that.
That's a Twilight Zone episode. It's something like that. There's an episode of the New Voyages with George Takei playing Sulu, and he plays him as Captain Sulu on the Excelsior, and he remembers an event that happened in the past, and they go back to the original series sets. So they're shooting they shot the Excelsior in Los Angeles, not on the East Coast, because they had Excelsior sets out here. So I ran a camera for them. I volunteered. I always wanted to go out to Ticonderoga to shoot there, but I could, they needed 2 or 3 weeks of your time. And I couldn't get away. Yeah. But here for this shoot, they didn't need me for 2 days. It's like, great, I'll run a camera for you. So I'm running second camera, and there's a scene at the end of the show where he's holding a baby, and George is, the baby's crying, and George is, I'm not very good with babies. It's the moms there were trying to get the baby to calm down, and the director leaves to go shoot a Vulcan on the set. We're in a separate section, and the baby stops crying. George goes, let's get this, please, let's get this. So I said, okay, fine, stand there, I'll adjust the camera, look this way, say your line, go, say your lines, and cut. And we got it. That was it. So I directed George Takei in an episode of Star Trek.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's
my
so
one
cool.
claim to fame for Star Trek there.
I haven't seen those episodes in a long time. I've only ever watched them all once.
Yeah,
I need
that's
to go back
the one
and
where
rewatch
he got left behind or sent another something happened where he ended up aging into himself, and he was like I can't think of it, but anyways, yeah, so there was a alternate timeline kind of thing.
So yes, he had been on the set pieces before, but he'd never seen them all together.
Yeah,
this is the first
time. What was his overall impression? I'm sure he was blown away.
It was funny. I was not with him the first time he went through, but on the tour he went through with us, he was.
So you went on the tour that he went with you guys on?
Right, he led the tour.
Yeah,
that I wanted in the package. He said he actually, when he got on to the transporter, he said, "This is the house that you built. That the fans of Star Trek made this possible. That there's no other television show in the world where fans have built a set you can go visit, right?" Yep. And he says it's the fans that made this happen. The fans that gave him his career, and he was very much. In love with the fans who were in love with the show that made this all happen. This was basically his.
That's great.
What he said about it. I asked
if there
was anything that stands out on the set that never got into the movies or never got into the show. That he stabbed someone with the foil, or he said that one time a light fell on the bridge set. And he was standing right where it fell. I said it fell right here, as if he was still on the set. It fell right here. Didn't hit anyone, but it scared everyone, and they had to spend a half an hour cleaning it up and everyone calming down before they could start again. And that was the one thing he remembered that stood out in his mind.
That's wild. That's cool.
That's cool.
Now, that was the weekend of Ticonderoga, right? So they have a convention going at the same time.
They had a convention going at the same time, right?
And how
were there a lot
of
people there, or?
I don't know what I wouldn't say there were a lot. No. There were. I think they said 250 or 300 people there, but Shatner a few weeks before there was 1,000.
Yeah, I went during the first time I went was during Ticonderoga because it just happened to be the only time I could go, and I took the set tour and there was almost no one at the set tour because everybody was at other events. So it was, yeah.
I mean, I had looked at the schedule and it looked like there were some interesting things going on that weekend. Like they had some interesting panels and things.
And I never got to any of them. There was a confusion on dates. They released their dates so late, right? And I've got to book my flights and my hotels well ahead of time. And Shatner's always Friday, Saturday. So I booked for Friday, Saturday, and George was Saturday, Sunday. I spent Friday the day before goofing around on the set, which was awesome and every bit as cool as it would have been if I'd say 2 days. And so I got all my George stuff in on Saturday, and Sunday I had to fly home.
Wow. Okay.
Well, sounds like you had a great time.
Sounds awesome. Oh, yeah. George is we've talked to him last Rhode Island. Barry and I talked to him. It was really, it's like, I don't like bothering people, but he engaged us. We're talking about where my name comes from, and his brother, what was his brother's name? Something his mother named them both after kings. He was George, and his brother was someone else, and I don't remember.
Yeah.
But no, he's great. He's
a very, very gracious man who
yeah.
appreciates what he has and why, and you get that in all the interviews and what everybody writes about him. It's great.
He did talk quite a bit about the Japanese internment camp he was in.
It's been one of his big things in recent years, and it's great that he's talking about it, because it's one of those things that is vanishing. It's vanishing into history.
Yeah, a show on Broadway. He did a show,
and
about
he's publishing a graphic novel. He's
great.
Written it out. Yeah. And they've drawn the pictures for it. He's publishing a graphic novel about his time.
Yep.
Camp. Yeah.
Was Brad there?
Yes.
Brad's great.
Almost as popular as George.
Yeah. From probably from the Howard Stern show.
From the Howard Stern show. Yeah. George came out of the car. Everyone applauded, yelled, and Brad came out of the car, and everyone applauded, yelled, and yelled for Brad as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He puts up with all this stuff, but he's definitely works the room too.
Yeah.
Good for them. That's awesome. Yeah, we got to go. Again.
Yeah. Again and again.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel good because I was just there 2 months ago, but obviously not with such a celebrity.
So, Brian, the next time you were at this end of the country, let's talk about let's get in touch with James and talk about doing something there.
If we go up on a weekend that isn't Ticonderoga or a shadow weekend, it won't be a problem at all.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Yeah, we got to work that out.
Yeah.
Well,
cool.
That is awesome. If you have not gone, go. I mean, make the trek.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot, but it's worth talking about a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
2 things I forgot. One, he's already started on the sets from Next Gen.
Oh, really?
Oh,
he did. Oh, that's great.
If you search
bought the building
online,
next door, right?
There are pictures out now of the bridge section they have lit up and working and restored. It's gorgeous. It's right off one of the corridors of the Enterprise. And then there's some published pictures of it, and the captain's chair is there, and the big wooden arch is there, and they're restoring them. So they are definitely working on that.
Wait, so you're saying they have the actual pieces?
They have the actual pieces from the touring set.
Oh, the touring set. Okay.
Really? Okay.
And a lot of stuff from the Vegas experience.
The Vegas set was awesome. I went to the Vegas show. That was really nicely done.
And Barry, you saw the giant Enterprise in the
yes.
lobby.
Yeah.
And the news, a little bit of news here. They have also talked to the Space Center in Houston, and they're getting the Galileo shuttle.
Ooh.
It's absolutely coming up there. They're building a space for it. And
that's great.
The original Galileo shuttle will be on display there.
Can I have the plywood one?
It's on permanent loan from NASA.
That's fantastic.
Wow.
That's great.
Where the hell are they going to put that?
Well, they have that whole other building where they're building the next gen stuff.
They are going to build a building onto the set. So it'll be like walking onto the
the shuttle bay?
Shuttle bay, yeah.
Oh my God, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Brian, I've got a question for you that maybe you'll know. The first time I ever went out to LA to visit, and this is going back at least 25 years ago, there was a place in Hollywood that had the Cheers set and the Next Generation set that I went to. Do you know, they claimed that was the actual bridge set. I have pictures of me sitting in it, but I don't know if it was really that one or maybe it was a touring one or what it was.
Was it the Hollywood Wax Museum?
It might have been.
They had a Star Trek set for a while. They had an original series set. The Cheers set.
I'll pull out a picture or two of this and pop them up in our chat. But yeah, they had the full Cheers set and the full Next Gen bridge.
Wow.
That's weird.
Oh.
Yeah. I wonder what that was. I just
kind of
remembered
kind of a mashup, kind of where no one has gone before knows your name,
but everybody knows your name there.
Yeah, that's right.
So many places like that have popped up in Hollywood and fallen down in a year or two. There's just so many. Yeah.
Is that cantina still there? That was a little bit
they're still there.
I see them advertised. Yeah, even though
I went in.
Kevin Smith does a podcast from there every week, so that's why I know. Yeah.
I went there
Yes,
once.
he
It's
does.
funny. Okay, moving on. We won't do this long. So, go to the Star Trek set. Foundation on Apple. We talked about this. Isaac Asimov books from, God, he wrote them across from the 40s to the...
From the
Yeah. Up until the
started
90s
as short stories in the 40s.
Yeah. Yeah. So they've made this series. I don't know that I've read the books. I felt like I read the first one like 30 years ago, so I don't remember a single thing about them.
Brian, you?
I just finished the first book not 6 months ago because I heard this was coming. Let me rephrase that. I struggled through the first book.
Yeah.
6 months ago because I heard this was coming. And I thought to myself, how are they ever going to make this? It's two guys talking in a room.
Yep.
Every scene is two guys talking about something that just happened. And it's tough. It's a tough read. It is.
It is.
And I don't remember reading. Then I probably didn't read it. Maybe
All right,
I bought it.
so here's my first question. Then now because I have not read any of it, I will not read any of it. But based on the first book that you just read, was any of that in the first episode, or did they just find a way to?
Absolutely, yes. Yes,
Okay.
they did, and
Harry Seldon.
They did, Barry Seldon. They did an excellent job of bringing up what he did and why he's important to the story. And granted, they changed the sex and race of his Padawan, but other than that, I think they did a really good job of making a dull struggle of a book into a pretty compelling little show.
I read the book 20 some odd years ago. I listened to an audiobook that wasn't great, maybe 8 or 10 years ago. I don't remember female characters. Were there any female characters?
No, there are none.
Okay. Interesting.
This was written in the 40s and 50s by
No, it's
and
so that's obviously changed quite a bit. I will say this has the potential, and you know what I was actually thinking of was there are many science fiction things that have ended up better than their source material, or certainly more approachable than their source material. And basically everything Philip K. Dick ever wrote is one of them. There's adaptations that, like I said, are, that just work better visually and work better played out on screen. This may prove ultimately to be a way to tell this story, which is, impossibly huge and has such a scope that, people said this was unfilmable, but I might also argue it's almost unreadable as well. So
right, but if you try to translate it from its from its book form exactly into movie form, maybe it is unfilmable. But it felt to me, based on what I've heard about the books, like they took that at its heart, but turned it into something a little more watchable. I'm not so sure it's approachable to the average viewer yet. I've only seen the first episode, and it felt
it's a little
science fiction.
This
a little complex.
This is a property definitely in need of distillation. Okay, it just needs to be brought down to a level that can be related and translated. And I think they're doing, from what I remember, again, it's a few years, I think they're doing a reasonable job of that. I also feel like they're seeding in some things in here for continuity, because this is a story that's supposed to cover 1,000 years. So, I think there's like the robot woman, the minder woman. I wonder whether wherever we go with this story, whether she's still going to be around, because she's kind of
she's a robot. I didn't even know.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah, I have watched the other episodes.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Spoiler.
God, totally thought that was in the first episode.
Well, the thing on the hill that the kids are trying to get up close to that makes them go crazy is not in the book at all.
It's not in the book at all.
Isn't that the foundation or something? It's,
That's the archive. Wasn't it like an archive, or they called it?
No, that's their
theory.
theory. That's their theory. The
I
vault.
I try to approach these things.
Thank you.
Based on what's on the screen. I mean, I get the books and but it's a little complicated. It's a little hard to follow. And then towards the end, it's like, okay, it's going somewhere. But part of me also feels like, again, spoilers if you haven't seen the first episode. Thanks, Todd spoiled the whole freaking thing.
I'm kidding.
I'm
it's
joking.
a freaking robot nanny, okay?
I'm joking.
It's not a big plot point.
But it's a little convenient, as much as you're trying to make this pretty complicated and a little hard to follow, that when the guy is like, the Empire's going to fall in 500 years, the most climactic event in probably the past 10 centuries happens the same day. I mean, like, seriously? With the attack on the thing and everything. That's like a little
I think, well, yes and no, but I also think that, like, I think a lot of things are connected in ways that aren't anticipated. And I think that there may be, like, doomsday cults out there waiting for a nudge. And this was the nudge.
It was spookily parallel to things that are happening today.
That's what I'm saying. And that's nothing that I saw in the next episodes. I'm saying
the Emperor was petrified that this guy just talking about the fall of the Empire would bring about
going to trigger exactly because it's a house of cards.
Yeah, as soon as the news starts talking about the fall of the Empire, the Empire is going to start falling.
Right, and that's just it. And that is exactly. I will say, and I said this to Barry, I had Chernobyl flashbacks when Jared Harris was talking truth to power there, and it was kind of like, okay, yeah, here we are.
And that's you can't go out and always cast unknowns in these roles. I get that.
Yeah,
certain people are just so typecast, or you're just so associated. Maybe typecast is the wrong word. It's just so associated with certain
guy,
roles.
and I totally forgot it was Chernobyl. So I don't know.
I can't see Lee Pace in anything.
He doesn't have that shit all over his face. I mean,
no. You're not following where I'm going. I watched that stupid show Halt and Catch Fire, and he was one of the leads in that, and I can't see him in anything and not think of that awful show.
I just think of him in
I think Pushing
Guardians
Daisies,
of the Galaxy.
But anyways,
I liked him in Guardians. I didn't like him in
I think I associate him with Pushing Daisies, and always will. But I actually thought that was I think that's a kind of a cool. Was that wasn't in the book like that, right? With the cloned emperors.
No,
was it?
Clone Emperors was new too.
Okay, and I think
idea,
again,
though.
I also think that is their continuity thing. I think wherever this story goes,
for sure,
because they're talking 8 seasons of this thing, 80 episodes, 10 episodes a season. This is a Game of Thrones dice roll.
It'll never make it that far.
That's how many they've made.
They're talking 8 They're talking 8 seasons with 10 episodes per season.
Apple's not going to pay for it.
It'll never make it that far.
No way.
I'm telling you, that's what. If you read the article,
no. I believe you that's what they're planning.
David S.
for.
Goyer is saying. Okay,
I thought 3 seasons, 1 per book, would be stretching it.
Yeah. So
I mean, that's
whatever
that's
they're planning for.
Wow.
I mean, this, and I don't mean this from a visual perspective. This had a little bit of a Raised by Wolves feel to me.
Yes, and I did not like
Very
Raised by
much.
Wolves.
Very unapproachable to the average person, and it's on Apple Plus. Like, I don't see this going 80 episodes.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I was gonna say that this is the rare, true, hard science fiction show.
Yeah.
And
I liked it, by the way. So I'm not saying
I
I
like it
didn't
a
like
lot,
it.
but it is going to be hard to
you know
get
the
your
thing,
average
and-
guy into it.
And I don't know where they're going with it, but you got to have a character you identify with.
the Expanse,
the girl I identify with, but are we
Yes.
done with her?
Yeah,
I mean, okay, good, because
as a young girl, we're done with her. Yeah.
The young girl. That's what I'm saying. I'm invested in the young girl, and I don't know that we're seeing her again.
No,
so
and that happens throughout these books.
So I got to start over again with
you
someone
start
I'm
over and
invested
over
in.
and over.
And I want to
over.
know what happens to it. Nope, no, you don't know. The Expanse is hard sci-fi with the corners rubbed off. Okay, they did what they had to do to make that work.
They don't
for
have
TV.
nearly. They're not.
And they're not rubbing the corners off this thing.
Yeah,
right.
they're not
This is,
trying to tell as. Maybe they are trying to tell as complex a story, but they don't leave it as complex. Like, just make a little
So
I will say visually,
simpler.
this thing is freaking incredible.
Oh, they spent a fortune on this.
You
that's why it's
see
not
it.
lasting
You
8
see every
seasons.
bit of that, every dollar they spent there. That the space elevator destruction thing was mind blowing. I mean, it's like the the way they filmed that, the different, it almost, I don't want to say it was excessive, but there was no ignoring the gravity of what, no pun intended, of that occurring.
Yeah, I was impressed with the fact that they put the space elevator in it and did not explain it.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, they didn't explain it, but I will say that I felt like in certain spots there was exposition that maybe was unnecessary. Like, they didn't explain the elevator, but they did make a point of saying, I'm going to stay awake for the whole thing. And then they go, oh, it takes 8 hours to get to the surface. So like, they were explaining it a little bit. But
I mean, you saw what it was. I mean, you know.
I mean, I got it.
It was the K7 space station with a rope attached.
With a really long elevator on the bottom. Yeah, I liked it. I have only watched the one episode. I will continue to watch more and see if I can stick with it. It's just
it's an investment.
It's a lot. It felt like, and I really enjoyed Dune when I was a kid and I read it, but that was like reading a textbook, and this felt like watching a bit of a textbook.
Yeah.
Actually, I liked it so much, Todd, that I went and got the audiobook of the second book, and I'm now listening to it. Because I'm not going to try to read it. There's just no way. Yeah. But I'm going to listen to it.
There's a newer audiobook than the one I listened to by Scott Brick, narrates it. He's good. And I think that I'll probably re-listen to it.
Let's see who I have here.
So there's 3 full books of this thing?
Oh no, there's more than, well, there's 3, and then
three
there's
main books. Yeah.
3 main books. And then he did 2 prequels and he did a follow-up.
And his kids are writing them now too, I think.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's tough. I'm thinking of sweeping stories. Did any of you guys read Seven Eves?
Yes. Well, I listened to it. Yeah.
Which I thought was fantastic. And I think, again, I'm comparing a book to a show, but while that was sweeping across thousands of years, it was so much more approachable than this. I felt like, because you got characters you could invest in, right? They're supposed to be making that. See, that book could easily be made into a movie. It was really fairly simple.
Or a series, because it's
too
much to cover.
If only people had heard of it.
Yeah.
Right. This is as his foundation. This is like.
Yeah, but I think they were supposedly talking about it.
I'm looking on IMDb, and it says that the actress that played Gal is in 7 episodes. So I don't think we're done with her yet.
Oh, okay. Maybe they'll flash back. Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah,
she's in an episode each season.
I would say, I'll tell you this. I'm not going to spoil anything other than what I already have.
Anything else?
It's a freaking robot maid, okay? It's Rosie the robot, okay?
Rosie.
Anyways, there is time jumping, and it's actually good in the way they do it.
I'm looking at the wrong thing. I apologize. The actress that plays young Gal is in 7 episodes. The actress that plays Gal is in 10 episodes. So she's in all of them.
She's not.
Oh, okay.
She is not.
All right, so IMDb's wrong.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's
no, and it is oftentimes wrong. So
like Gal she's the old version.
She's in 2 of the 3 episodes.
There's the 45-year-old version and the 10-year-old version, or whatever she is.
Yeah. So
15 and 50, I guess.
Yeah.
More
so
like.
Again, it's. I will say, each episode is very different than the others, and I liked each of them in different ways. I had a hard time getting started with this. I really did. I think I watched the first 20 minutes 3 times, and the third time I watched
me and told me that you fell asleep, and
that did not encourage me.
I was very tired.
I made a thing of it. I went downstairs in the theater where I had a bowl of popcorn. The second time I got interrupted, I was really trying to psych myself up for this thing.
I had to do, and then I said, no, I'm going to watch this straight through, and I restarted and I watched it from the beginning. And I think that's when where the work they had done really impressed me. But fortunately, I had not seen I'd never gotten to the space elevator thing, because like I said, I just thought that was amazing. And also such a cool concept.
You have to watch this on a big screen.
And now no one's going to want to build one. This is like the Hindenburg of the space.
The Hindenburg of.
Okay, it's like, for years we could do it. We could build the space elevator, and now no one's going to go there. So it's like.
Yeah. Well, if you're basing that on the fact that you think everybody's going to see this show, and like nobody's going to see this show, it's
so Dave, are you going to keep watching it? You seem to be.
I'll watch it.
Yeah. Okay.
If it was a ton on, I'll give it. I felt like I perked up at the end. It got a little more like, okay, now, it wasn't until they were sort of, on trial do you really get, like, what's the deal,
They had to do some world building at the beginning.
It took 45 minutes to get there. But once they sort of said what that was interesting. Because that did remind me of the 70s where, humanity needed to sort of, like, rebuild itself kind of thing, and I really enjoyed that.
Well, maybe those of you who read the books can tell me, because my wife is a big science fiction reader and claims that the books build and build and building it better and better and better as you go through the three novels. I'm hoping that's the case, because there's a lot of building going on.
Yeah.
But do you guys remember that? Does it get more bigger in scope as the books go on? Todd, you remember?
Honestly, I think I only did the first two.
Oh, okay.
So, and again, it was a long, long time ago. And I think I started the third and I realized I didn't remember enough of the second. And it was just like, yeah, okay.
Oh, okay.
If
they're doing 8 seasons, I've got some time to get that out.
It is a slog to get through this. And
let's hope they don't give up For All Mankind for this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's No, they're not going to.
Or the morning show.
They're not going to. I'll say there is stuff in this that inspired Star Wars. I mean, there's a lot of things attributed to this that, it's a brilliant work that is probably too far over my head, but it's I would love to see this in approachable form.
Yeah.
But that's the problem right there. If it's too far over your head and you're an avid reader and an avid science fiction fan, then it's not even in any way approachable for somebody who's not.
Yeah. And I think the thing is, if you look at this in the context of its times, it is conceptually very, very good. I don't think you could get this book published today.
No.
It's again, it's one of these things where, it's again the Citizen Kane thing, where you're seeing all these things in this book, and you're saying, well, we've seen these things a dozen times. Well, really, this is the first place anyone did this.
Yeah,
this whole empire, this whole kind of thing, and he translated a lot of like Earth history kind of things to space, and then expanded them out, and like I said, there's a lot of this story in other science fiction, but sometimes that's what your contribution is when you create a foundational piece of science fiction.
They just got to throw in some dragons and some naked girls, and they'll be
fine.
Money. Yeah.
No, well, they're going to need that to get people to watch this thing. Because Barry, you're right. I don't know who's going to watch this. Because if you're, it's tough for people who were fans. You're not getting the average person to watch this thing.
There's no way my wife would sit down and watch this.
It's funny when I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch this Foundation. Maybe this could be a new thing we could watch together. And then I watch it, I'm like, you're not going to want to watch
No, that's the same thing I told, because Maria's like, oh, you watch it without me? I'm like,
I will
trust me,
tell
I did
you,
you a favor.
Okay, so I'm going to go into the non-spoiler bin again. Okay. This show leans very heavy into strong female characters in a way that is just, it's very different.
That's not going to be enough.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying this is not what you saw isn't exclusively what we're getting. So give it the 3-episode pilot.
And I appreciate that Apple is trying to do things that aren't totally mainstream. I mean, For All Mankind, quite honestly, isn't very mainstream. And we talk about it all. It's like, I don't know a ton of people that are watching it, but I love it. So I'm glad they're doing it. And Ted Lasso is an amazing show. I mean, they're not
Ted Lasso's
doing things.
Funding foundation.
No, but they're not doing the things that a lot of other networks are doing, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
There's this is the second season of that Jason Momoa thing. I don't know that I've ever met a single person who've ever watched it.
No, me either.
No.
Second season.
And that's not a cheap show to produce either.
I haven't watched a single episode of that.
I've only seen the commercial. I don't even know what it's about.
Yeah.
It's on the Vikings.
It is a germ of, whatever in my awareness. And it's just like, I know it's out there. No, it's a thing, but
not interested. And then there's Hawkeye's partner's got her own show, Dickinson. The girl Haley Steinfeld's in it. I don't know what. I think that's about Emily Dickinson. Maybe I don't know.
It is.
I don't know who's watched that.
It's not about Angie Dickinson?
No.
That would be worth watching.
Yeah. So
she's still alive, I think. Is she still alive?
Is, yeah.
She needs to be a chiller.
You know who they just announced a chiller? Morgan Fairchild.
I saw that.
my wife, Morgan Fairchild.
I was married to her. Yeah, I remember her.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Tell us if you've watched Foundation. Sean, talking to you. I'm sure you with Sean, he either loves it or hates it. One or the other. I don't know which.
Sean and I had an extended exchange today about Lower Decks, and
he hates it.
He
hates
hates
Lower Decks.
but I think he's weakening. I do.
I've weakened. I'll watch it because there's also so much crap on.
He's probably shouting. He's probably shouting at his iPhone right now as he's hearing this. But I think he's weakening.
But it has gotten better. I mean, we've been open.
It's
about
better than
Sean's
it was
argument, and I apologize, Sean, for making your argument. Is it's not Star Trek, and my argument is yes, the Flintstones wasn't history or anthropology, but you understood the setting, okay. And the fact that there were dinosaurs and humans at the same time really didn't push you out of it. So,
oh my God.
It's like,
especially
I don't
when
have
you're
to believe
6.
this is.
Oh, wait, you're going to the Flintstone defense?
I don't have to take this as canon to appreciate the jokes in it.
The Flintstones is to the honeymooners as Lower Decks is to Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Wait till you get the Prodigy,
Brian.
because I think that's even worse.
If Lower Decks did not own me, the moment they were in that collector thing, and they walked under the suspended body of dead giant Spock from the animated series episode, I was like, done. Okay, that's it. It's like, and never commented on it. It was just like,
I don't remember seeing the.
Oh yeah,
there's a ton of fan service in there in the best possible way.
Oh, in the best possible
the best
way.
part about the show.
And and they never stopped to explain it. They, in the early episodes they did. They threw a lot of like references in, but here. It's just great.
Did you see the most recent episode?
Don't ruin it.
I'm
not going to ruin anything. I'm just asking.
Probably one behind.
It.
So
there's great Borg stuff in there. That's all I'm going to say.
But yeah.
I'm not getting into the whole discussion on this. I'm just going to ask a question since we're sort of on this.
Yep.
Barry, have you watched any more What If?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
I will.
Boy, Marvel TV is just
you know what I discovered
mediocre.
the other day? I discovered the other day, and I had totally forgotten about this. We talked about Bradley Whitford being in the first one, the Captain Carter one.
It was it was the general or whatever.
The Agent Carter short that Marvel did 10 years ago. Okay, that was on the DVD with Captain America. There's a short, Agent Carter. He is the antagonist in that. He's playing the same character.
No kidding.
He is. I just rewatched it yesterday. I was like, holy shit. And he plays the same character the same way. He's the guy that she goes to work for at the SSR. And so that's the character he's playing.
They showed their best episode first, and it's been downhill since.
Boy, that doesn't say a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's one of those things I watch with my son Josh. He's been busy between work and school, so I'm saving it to watch with him, and we just haven't had time.
Do yourself a favor. Okay, tell us if you watch Foundation. Daryl, Sean, whoever else, Whitey, Jim Bush won't like it. I don't know what Jim Bush likes. He's got a Kojak figure. Good for you, Jim Bush.
Jim Bush has some awesome toys. I will say that.
Yeah, let's go. What's in the box?
Show you with the box. Who's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Regular Joe's What's in the Box.
Brian.
Oh, all right. I'll go first.
Why don't you go first? What's in the box?
What's in the box is something I ordered ages ago from England.
Oh, mine is too.
And is it from England?
It is not.
It's from England, and it's this.
You finally got them.
I finally got it. Yes, it's the
I never ordered that. I know that's what
the space. That's what I thought. Yeah, the Space 99 playset.
I should.
Wow, that looks nice.
It's the comm block and the phaser.
They are very nicely made, and they function. And you can change from stun to kill and make different noise. And
now they're offering those as a model kit too, right?
Different company.
Different company.
Oh, it's a different company.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and this is the it comes with really bad instructions. It's very difficult to figure out if it's on or not. But the screen is just a little red alert thing. It doesn't actually.
Oh, you'll fix that.
Yeah, I may. That's a really small screen, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I may wait for the model kit. We'll see.
You said you wanted to sort of put the episodes in there, like
I do want to put the episodes.
But are you going to do it to this, or are you going to do it to something else?
I may wait for the model kit because this is so nice. I don't know if I want to try to break it apart.
Is the model kit full size?
I want that even more now because of For All Mankind.
That was on the. Yes. That was on the.
It's also now a For All Mankind prop.
Yeah.
So
I may order that. Is it still out there?
I think so. Well, they've been having trouble shipping them, and they're just now getting the orders out.
Dave, let me know if you find it somewhere, because
it's the one place. The place that makes it sells it, right?
Well, the place that we bought our Forbidden Planet uniforms had it, and they're sold out. And I've looked a couple other places. So if you, I
had it on my thing. I'll.
That's cool. Oh, there you go. You got to turn down.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Awesome.
That was
everyone do the moon going out of orbit. Yeah.
Tom, what do you got? Oh, did you have something else, Brian?
I'm done.
Okay. So this is something that I ordered in like January or February. And it's a site that I've ordered stuff for. I've actually bought gifts from it before. It's a company called Throwboy that makes pillows, make very unusual pillows. They actually made the stuffed Steve Jobs figure that I have. And so anyways, I thought it would be cool to have the Apple Finder face as on the couch in my office, which has since been replaced by a chair. But it will still fit. But I ordered this and another pillow, which I just thought would be awesome to have.
Oh yeah, yeah, that is.
And so this is the original Mac as a pillow, and
life size. Yeah,
it is pretty close to life size. And they got the slot and they've got the little buttons and everything's exactly there. They did a really good job on it. They got kind of a mock Apple logo because they got chased about trademark.
Oh,
but it's the vents are accurate and everything like that. It's actually really, really cool. The really annoying thing with them is they've like been sending me like all of these emails saying, "Oh, this is on sale, this is on sale," and I really just want to write back and say, "Just send me my freaking stuff," because it's been forever. And this came yesterday, so this was a crazy long wait for these things, but they're really cool and they're really, really well made, and they weren't that expensive. But like I said, this definitely will go on my chair at work. And again, that's from Throwboy, and not from England, but very cool. And they make a bunch of different ones. They've got all kinds of different like buttons and things like that. And they're super well made. You can find things like that really cheap, but they're good materials. So, anyways, that's what I got.
Nice.
Barry, what do you got?
I have a Hot Toys figure that I did not tell you about, and it's not a new one. So I should have ordered this when it was first available. I didn't. It's one of the ones that I missed and regretted not getting, and did find a good deal on it on Facebook. So I got Qui-Gon Jinn. And it's a really good Liam Neeson likeness. I mean, they nailed it, as they always do. But comes with a ton of accessories that I'll unfortunately never take out of the box.
Yeah.
He's got the poncho from Tatooine. He's got the comm link from Tatooine. He's got the little holo projector with all these different things you can put on it. He's got the Queen's ship. He's got Yoda. He's got like 3 or 4 different holograms you can put in his hand. He's got the fully extended lightsaber. He's got the lightsaber blade that looks like it's in motion.
Fan one. Yep.
Just a ton of stuff. I've got him just with the cape on. Or the robe, rather, and I've got the lightsaber on his belt. They come with this tiny little pin that you can use to attach it to his belt. I had Obi-Wan and Anakin from Episode 3, and I had Darth Maul, and I needed somebody to pair with Darth Maul, so he's the obvious choice. So
I've got it. It's a good figure.
Got a good deal on him.
Does the Darth Maul figure snap in half?
It doesn't, but it should.
No, that's the Hasbro.
They'll probably come out with that.
You were just a table saw away from making that happen.
Yeah, and a couple magnets, you just pop them right back together.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
I can
Yes,
say that
I'm
was one
happy.
of Evan's favorite things when he had all the Hasbro Star Wars, the 12-inch Star Wars things. We had the Darth Maul that snapped in half, and it was like,
I'm still amazed when I watch that scene that you see him falling, and then you do just see the two halves of his body separate as he's falling. It is kind of amazing they got away with that. But it's one of the things that makes that movie fun.
More amazing was he wasn't dead. That's still a shock to me.
Well,
You got to
No
watch a
one's dead.
cartoon to see how they put them back together.
exactly.
his
Dave.
particular race, all the vital organs are above the waist, so
Yeah,
everything is
exactly.
just
Wait, pause. Did you guys watch the Lego Star Wars Halloween special?
I haven't watched it yet. No.
No, I haven't yet.
Oh, it is the Darth Maul spider bot in it. That's
Oh,
It
that's
does.
nice.
Oh, that's great.
Those Lego things are always incredibly fun. I've watched all of them. They're great. So.
It's fun. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
What do you
no
got,
problem.
Dave?
Okay, this did come in a box. It did come in the mail. It's more about the display. So I got my display for my tribbles.
Oh,
that
sweet
looks good.
Cruella.
Corella and Tanya.
Yep.
So this is from the same company I've been buying displays from. This pop displays. This is a display case for a football, and I mean it's so funny. I mean you see they're kind of jammed in there. I got to position them, so I've put them pretty close together. But
Turn it sideways, Dave, so we can see.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, they really do just fill that
So
up.
you
real
got
nice.
Corella on the riser.
yeah,
So why don't you put the smaller one on the riser and put the plaque in front of the smaller one? Wouldn't it?
Oh, I
wouldn't
don't
it
know.
fill the space better?
I felt like the small ones will sort of fit under the big one a little better.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why.
I was just thinking
mean,
it would put them more on a level with each other. But yeah,
Cruella just looks so great up high like that.
Cruella
Yeah,
looks
You really get the
amazing.
drape
And the
of the
display-
hair.
that is
This is a big display. I mean, you really, if you spread them out, you need bigger real estate than this, which is too much as it is. So, and the cool thing about this is, there's displays. I've gotten the custom-made ones, like for the Black Widow things. This is about half the price because it's something that they have made and they sell, so it's worthwhile. So they make a nice
That's the one you
display.
sent us the link to. I'm gonna have to order one of those.
Yeah, I need that too.
Yeah, if that's the way you want to go. I mean,
Dave, would you at some point would you just put my two in there so I can see what they look like size wise?
Yeah.
So and then do the same thing with berries and then just
And I assume that you made 3 of those plaques, right?
Yes, I made those. Those are all made.
that's great. That's great.
Fantastic. Thank you. That looks awesome. I've got to figure out where I'm going to put them.
I know it's too big. It's a big display. I mean, there's a lot of dead space above Tanya, but there's no other way to do it. To put them on the same level, the case would need to be wider and shorter.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that looks really good the way you have
I mean,
it.
hey, for what they
great.
are, I mean,
Looks great. Yeah.
And I feel Cruella needs to be center stage. So
Yeah,
that's important.
I feel like it's not like these are screen used things, so they kind of need a display that gives them a little sense of, what they are. I think I'm going to put it right there. I don't know where I'm going to put my lunar lander. I have to find.
That's a good
place.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know where else to put them. Anyway.
Put them in the movie room right where Pam usually
Could
sits,
you
'cause
put
she'll
the
never go
golden
back down there.
gun? Can you hang the golden gun on the wall and put it right there? That's
On
the
the
golden
wa-
gun, right? On
Yes.
The, next to the, is that wall
on
mountable?
that wall right
No,
right
no. I'm
here?
saying is the golden gun
Right there.
wall mountable, or does it have to be?
I don't have any wall space to mount it.
That is a good point. Okay,
That's
I'm just
the
saying
problem.
it's in the display case. I think it would work flat on a wall also.
Yeah, it would. I
and
have
that
no
would
wall
fit
space.
in that spot, but you don't have the wall space anymore.
No.
So.
The only space is like above those closet doors.
yeah, right there.
And I got my Macquarie sign things not up and in the
Yeah.
wrong spot because I have nowhere else to put them. It's a problem.
Yeah.
You need a
So,
bigger
yeah.
house, Dave.
Need a bigger house. I know. I was really hoping like I'm gonna have this display sort of center in the theater, but
I think a nice pedestal, those
that
tribbles
caused
will
a
look
little
great
bit
down
of,
there.
of a fight. I'm working on that.
Have you been sleeping in the theater, Dave?
No, well, she's the one who chose the bottom of the stairs for that thing, which is awesome.
I know. I was shocked when I saw that you were displaying the chicken
So
skewer
wait a minute.
in
Does,
the
that,
basement.
does that now mean
why?
that the thing on the stairway
Yeah.
Does that whole area now open up for similar things?
No, there's not much else you really could put there.
But there's still it's a lot of blank wall, right? I mean, you could, as long as you get flat cases, you could get things on that wall.
Well, listen, Mark's away at college. How often is he even using his bedroom anymore? He's got
That's right.
Or how about his other room? His
I
other
know
room
he's
has
got a whole
right,
separate
the
playroom.
His
the
other room
playroom
has.
should
I
be-
mean, I have to take down his Wampa and GI Joe collection.
No,
that
you
was
just
sort
put
of
that-
the fight.
Put that on one side, and then the other side becomes the spillover.
Well, if you actually took down the wall that's right behind you, you could go straight into Mark's bedroom
No,
and
that's
just make
the
your
back.
office bigger.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good
there we
idea.
go. That'll go.
You could
over
double
well.
your area there.
Oh,
surface
how
area.
often does she go in there? You could do it and not tell her.
The problem is how many rooms are there? Things. Not that. Hey, if you're listening to this, you're right. There's there's stuff in multiple rooms. So.
Yes.
Well, we made a deal when we moved into this house that the top 2 floors were hers and the basement was mine. So
Okay, basement. I got the basement. I got this room.
Yeah.
I forced Mark into having a Wampa collection. That's that room.
you also have a TV room on the main floor that
There's
has
a TV
some
room that's
weird
always a problem because there's autographed stuff all over that. There's genie bottles in the family room.
Yeah.
It's not Gus Lopez territory, but it's enough to cause a problem.
Dave, this is why you're my idol.
Anyway, okay, so that's what's in the box. Brian, thank you. Always a pleasure to see you
Great to
in
be here.
person.
You guys.
And hear about Star Trek. That was awesome. Yeah,
I refresh my memory. You are coming out to Rhode Island, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so we're going to see you next month. That's awesome.
That's right.
It's great.
yeah, we'll talk about that briefly after the show in the post-show gold.
Yes.
If you're going to Rhode Island, let us know. Tell us about Foundation if you care, and any other stuff. And next week, no idea.
It's going to be something awesome.
It's going to be something awesome.
Trust us.
Yeah. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.